Hello everybody, welcome back to another Bleach 5e update video. This is update number 20 something. I'm already losing count of what update video we're on. But I got a lot of good updates to you, some pretty big important updates actually regarding it. I'm sure you can see the changelog, so you're getting a little bit of spoilers, but big updates. It looks pretty small compared to other updates, but these are pretty big. So let's go through and read the changelog right away. First one, Fullbring release changed from 5 to 2 SP and specified release duration. Adjusted Brawler martial techniques. Increased Hollow ability high speed regeneration from 3 to 5. Bount playtest material added on Patreon. Book updates changed to 3 months. And then updated the roadmap. And then of course, new video, which is the one you're watching now. So really, the last three are the biggest updates that we're going to be talking about and will take up most of the video. So let's get on right into the updates. But before we move on, of course, I have to mention the YouTube channel. I would greatly appreciate it if you guys would like the video, maybe even share it. Subscribing would be a big help in satisfying the algorithm god, since I'm in a very niche. Especially now with the algorithm is really conflicted, because on one hand it's Bleach content with the anime or in manga, and on the other it's D&D. So I'm in a really awkward and niche spot. So like, comment, subscribe would be fantastic and be super helpful in getting this out there even more. Already we're at 130 subscribers, pretty big number to me. I'd love to get it at 200 and above. So if you could, I'd greatly appreciate it. However, if you do want to support me even further, I do have a Patreon. As you can see here, I got a lot of pretty good updates right now, which I'll go over more in detail, but the balance are only available to the senior officers and above. Being part of the Patreon, you get access to a lot of stat blocks mainly for the GMs to use in the campaigns. I also have going to be posting out pretty soon the stat blocks for Shinigami and other classes and characters such as that. So if you do want to support me and help me out financially with this project, I'd greatly appreciate it. Of course, if you're not able to, just a subscription on YouTube is perfectly fine. But with that out of the way, I do also need to mention up on the screen, you're going to see the current patrons, and I want to give a shout out to all of them. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for supporting me and being here for this journey, and I greatly appreciate you guys. Thank you very, very much. With all that out of the way, let's move into the updates. Alrighty, so first one we have is the Fullbring release. So as you can see here, as an action, you spend 2 SP to release your Fullbring. You stay released for up to 1 minute per Fullbring level. You can spend a bonus action to seal your Fullbring. Previously, it was a pretty hefty cost just because the Fullbringers have access to every armament type that they can pull abilities from. So I figured, having that was a good balance for it. But it seemed to be a little bit too steep of a cost, especially when it comes to other subclasses and other abilities, how much they cost, and from early to mid levels, it became a strain on the SP. So I decided, you know what, 4 is a little too much. Let's bring it down to 2 SP. And then, of course, I also forgot to specify the duration for the Fullbring. So, yeah, it's now 1 minute to per Fullbring level. So that's what we have now. Hopefully, this is going to open up more different builds, make them a little bit easier to make and to perform, and not run out on SP very fast. So I hope you guys enjoy that. Let me know what you guys think. And I'd love to hear maybe your builds that are now, or certain builds you had in mind that are opened up with this change. If you guys can comment on that below, I'd greatly appreciate that. But that's really it for the Fullbringers at the moment. I do have other things I want to go over, which forgot to put on one of the updates. But there is a poll that we did regarding them, but that'll be at the end of the video regarding a Fullbring update. But that's it for now for the Fullbringers. Let me know what you guys think, and let's move on to the next one. Okay, so next up is updates for the Brawler for the Fullbring archetype. Few things. Now, I know I got some feedback regarding combination and sometimes it not feeling very good because you're losing extra attack. Now, I want combination to be better than extra attack. And the feedback I've gotten was having to release your Fullbring and then activate combination and then activate any other armament abilities. It took up a lot of SP. So I'm hoping with the reduction to SP in releasing your Fullbring, this will help mitigate and resolve that gripe I've received regarding a combination. But again, I do want to stress that I want combination to feel better than extra attack on average. Sometimes it won't be that good because you don't have the SP, and then other times it'll feel amazing if you just keep landing your hits and you don't stop for who knows how many attacks. But I really want combination to feel better than extra attack. So hopefully with the reduction in the release for your Fullbring, this feels better. I also got some feedback regarding the Fullbringers not having good options to regain HP and having some kind of like second wind feature. I don't want to give the class that, and I'm really hesitant to do so because in weapon there's already like a heal type thing, and I really would like to keep healing to the healing armament type and in that area. So I really want to mitigate who and where healing is. I really want it to be very minimal. So I decided to be more flavorful. Add it to uppercut, or no, an uppercut. So now uppercut reads on a hit roll. Well, on a hit roll 1d8. I gotta add commas are in the wrong spot. I gotta fix that. On a hit roll 1d8, you deal extra damage equal to the result and regain that much HP. So hopefully now that can help with the being a little bit more frontliner and regaining a little bit more HP as being a tank, but also still doing what you're supposed to be doing and not healing too much HP. So if you miss, you're obviously not going to heal. If you keep landing that uppercut, you're going to heal a lot more. But then, it's 2 SP, so it's costing a good amount of SP to keep that up. Because I mean, you could juggle if you want, like try to juggle uppercut and something like a cross. But it's all on the dice roll. So if that happens, that's good. You can start juggling that if you like. But additionally, if you guys have noticed before, most of these martial techniques would say on a hit you deal an extra like 24 bludgeoning damage. So I wanted to change that because I know there's some abilities that change things and change damage types. So I didn't want to have the martial techniques locked to that damage. So now it's on a hit you deal an extra 1d4 damage, which for those who don't know, whenever that says that, it just means whatever is dealing that damage, whatever source is dealing damage, it's going to be dealing that same type. So if your armament is dealing slashing damage, and if it says something says like extra 1d4 damage, it'll be slashing damage. So that's what that change is really going to be for. Whatever damage type is changed, if at all, it'll be that damage type, and it also saves word space as well. But that's the changes that I've made to the Fullbringer. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if this is going to feel better. If you're playing a Fullbringer right now, I'd love to hear what you think about it. Any and all feedback, I would greatly appreciate it if you could put in the comments or on the Discord. Anything you guys can give me. Honestly, I'm always here. I do seem a bit distant or absent in the Discord, but I am working on the book and writing and researching. So we'll go over more about that later on with updates, the update schedule for the book. But that's, I am lurking in the Discord. I am watching things. I am seeing what you guys say, responding as quickly as I'm able to, and trying to converse really as much as I can. But so feel free to put in the comments. Feel free to put in the Discord. I'm always going to read them. I'm always going to see them. If you have any, I'll go over the rest of it later on. But that's it right now for Brawler. Let me know what you guys think. All right, so for high speed regeneration, I got that increase to 5 hit points at the start of its turn. I did get some feedback with this that it was a lot weaker compared to the one that that summons get. Now, the difference between the two that I wanted to implement was that the summons have a higher base HP regen, but that's kind of it. And it doesn't really go any higher. They don't really get any more benefits to it. However, with the high speed regeneration for hollows, it starts lower, but it scales. And you get things like regrowing severed limbs and right here where you can regrow organs, stuff like that. So it's a lot stronger later on. but weaker up front. But I know it was 3 HP, so I'm like, you know what, that is a little too weak, so I did bump it up to 5 hit points. So hopefully for those playing as a Rancor and Hollows, this will be a little bit better for you guys. And also for the GMs, for your monsters to survive a little bit more, to make them a little bit more tankier, since they'll be getting more HP. But that was a quick little small update for the high-speed regeneration. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you're playing in a Rancor right now and how it's going, and if you have high-speed regeneration and how it's been feeling so far. I'd love to hear about that. All right, so next up is the Bount class. So here is the post, and it's a little sneak peek for those who don't have access to it, but Bount classes have been back. I did have them for those who were here from the very beginning, the day ones, the OGs. They knew that the Bounts were in here, though nobody really played them. I didn't hear anything about them. I got no feedback from them. It didn't look like anybody was playing Bounts at all. So I decided to just cut them from the book, since I didn't really want to put a lot of time towards them, and no one plays them, and I get no feedback for it. So there's no point for me to even, keep up with them or put any kind of effort towards them. So I took them out of the book. Fast forward almost like a whole year later, and the community has quadrupled in size since then. More people have decided or have voiced that they want to see Bounts added to the book. There was a post that I specified specific conditions that needed to be met by the community before I can bring it back, and they've been met, so they are now back. So this is version 2 of the Bounts. So let's give a read. First up, they are a human subrace. Their ability score increase is your con score increases by 1. You get a bite attack, which counts as a simple melee weapon, which you're proficient in, and you can add your constitution modifier instead of your strength when you make attack rolls and damage rolls with this bite attack, and it deals 1d4 piercing damage on a hit. Next up, one of the biggest abilities, the next 3 are the bread and butter of the Bounts, really. So first one, soul absorption. You have the ability to consume the soul from a creature that is grappled by you, incapacitated, or restrained. Make a melee bite attack against a target. On a success, the target is drained by the amount of damage taken, and you regain hit points equal to that amount. The drain lasts until the target finishes a long rest. A creature killed in this way has its soul consumed, removing them from the reincarnation cycle. Next up is immortality. You do not suffer from the frailty of old age, cannot die of old age, and do not need food or water as long as each week you consume a number of souls equal to the number of hit die you possess. Empowerment. If you would consume the soul of a creature with hit die equal to or greater than yours, you gain a cumulative +1 bonus on all ability checks until you finish a long rest, and your spell point maximum permanently increases by 2. If you would heal a creature with your soul absorption ability and its hit die is double your hit die, you gain an armament ability. As you can see, big things for the Bounts. They're like the closest thing to like, it's weird because they're supposed to be like vampires, but not really vampires. If anyone knows about like the small amount of Bount lore we got in the filler, they're basically what inspired the vampire tales of the Bleach verse, well, within the human realm. So I really wanted to try to keep some vampire aspects without them straight up being vampires. Because in that, at least when I kind of played it out that way, it looked really awkward. Because a lot of times vampires do a lot of like blood abilities or like summoning abilities, like summoning bats and wolves and stuff. And that just felt awkward to me. I don't know. Maybe you guys think differently. I'd love to hear about it. But that's the Bounts right there. The doll armament that they get is attached as well as a Bount class. Right now, it's just one subclass. So currently it's open to, as I stated earlier, the senior officers and above, I believe. By the time this video comes out, it should be open to the rest of the patrons, and I'll have it open to the Patreon for about another week or 2. So any kind of comments you guys have, any suggestions you want to see, let me know. It's very rough draft because I wanted to just make it, put it out there, get feedback, and then make changes to it. So any feedback you guys got, any suggestions you have, let me know. I will make those changes. I'll add them to it if I think they're really cool. I'll get all that added. It's a community effort here, so feel free to, speak your mind. Tell me what you guys think. Tell me what you want to see, and I'll see if I can incorporate it. But after that, once all those changes are made, I will then add it to, or I'll post it on the Discord for everyone else, the public, to get access to it. Obviously, I'll make another post on Patreon, make it free, so it's in different places, and everyone will get access to it to then provide more feedback. And then once I get all that, the bounce is in a pretty decent spot that I like, I'll then add them into the book. Now, we'll talk about more with bounce and where they are in the roadmap once I get to that, but I am actively working on bounce right now. That is the first and foremost project I'm working on, and then I'll be going through the roadmap. So let's continue moving on. So back here to the changelog, as you can see, I have the next up is book updates change to every 3 months. So I put up a poll up on the Discord for people to vote if they wanted the updates for the book to be set to keep them at 1 per month, 2 per month, like every 2 months, or every 3 months. Now, I'm making those changes because at least when I'm in the middle of a campaign, it's really hard to test new material or test new stuff. So I would assume the same is for everybody else. So the options were, keep it monthly. It's pretty good. That's a good spot. Bi-monthly, giving more time to breathe and make bigger changes. And then every 3 months. So then that also gives me time to make more content instead of just focusing on the book. And obviously make the updates a little bit better and make bigger changes. So honestly, mainly it's for the content, because I want to make more content for this and do other stuff like run a campaign. But if I'm on a monthly schedule with the updates for the book, I don't have enough time to do that. So everyone voted for it, and we got to 3 months. So every 3 months. So this is going to start on, let me see. Technically, it would start March. And then you'll see the other one. So basically in like 2 months, you'll see the next update, because as you can see here, I'm posting it on the 1st of April. So in 2 months, you'll see the next one, and then it'll be on the 3 month cycle. Since you don't know, I like things to be symmetrical, so I want it to be, in those increments that match up with the calendar year. So from there, I'll start it up once this post goes up. So that's it, and hopefully I can finish other content. I can work on other stuff. I can do a little bit more community things, and then obviously I really want to do a Bleach campaign. Obviously the Patreons would have first dibs to it, but tried doing that before. However, we couldn't find enough people that would be available on the same day at the same time. So hopefully now, when I take a little break, because I did finish my current campaign. It wasn't a Bleach campaign, it was just a normal vanilla D&D campaign. I just finished that, so now I have a spot open for Bleach D&D. So I'll probably try to see if I can post more details on that, but I do want to get like maybe a month or 2 of a breather, because I just spent like almost a year on a campaign. So I want to take a little breather. That was probably like, well, no, it was like 8 months actually, but yeah, it was a long time. So I want to really take a little breather first. But that's the changes for the book updates. They are now every 3 months. Next up is the roadmap. So again, for those who don't know, I posted a poll up on the Discord for everyone to vote for. I posted my to-do list, or at least the biggest items on the to-do list. There's like other small things that were like irrelevant, and I'm probably not going to do them, or at least wait till I'm done with the bigger items to get to them. But I did post a list of items for people to vote for. Now, hindsight 2020, I wasn't aware that the ranking poll on Google Forms is fucking terrible. Terrible interface for people to vote on and change when you have a lot of options. It doesn't widescreen for whatever fucking reason. And reading the data was almost impossible. I had to like manually go through, tally things up, and rank them, which defeats the purpose of using the fucking forms. So that was dumb. So in the future, I'm going to try to find some other program. I try to use other programs to like import the data into it, and it was just not helpful either, unless you pay for it. So I found no good ranking poll that can aggregate the data, and I didn't have to pay for it. So that was dumb. And so I'm pretty sure I'm correct in manually aggregating the data and sorting it. So I'm going to now show you guys what the results are. So this is what everyone voted for. The first one honestly surprised me. I voted for it, but 3 other people voted for it too as their number 1 pick. So as a writer, I appreciate it, and I'm going to take the win. And thank you so much, because that's something I really wanted to do, and now I can do it right away. So up first, make the book publisher friendly. Now what this means is to really use only stuff in the basic rules, and anything outside of that to change the names and change wording so there's less like technically like not really plagiarism, but like I'm using like material that's like not mine, like it's from like Xanathar's or it's from so and so. I know, you know, legally you can't really claim like mechanics and stuff like that, but it'll just make it easier to publish material if I'm not using specifically the names to those things. So that's basically what it means to make it publisher friendly, to change all those stuff. Because for those who don't know, my end goal is to be able to have a print of this book and for people to be able to buy a hard copy of this. I would love a hard cover copy of this book in the future once it's all done. So that's what that means. Second one is the Fullbring class update. I've got some feedback other people have noticed too, and obviously I already know too. The Fullbring base class is a little bland. There's not a lot of oomph to it. So hopefully I can go through it, change up some stuff, give it a little bit more pizzazz, and make it a little bit more dynamic than what it currently is. So that's my thing. However, the subclasses for Fullbring, I'm pretty happy with them. I like where they're at. Maybe could use a little bit of tweaks here and there, but overall, I'm a big fan of the subclasses. And I do want to add more, but I kind of want to pace myself and work on the other stuff that I'm supposed to. But the base class itself will have an update, and probably the other subclasses will get like little mini changes to it. But it's mainly the Fullbring base class that will get an update. So if you have any kind of feedback regarding the base class, something you want to see, put it in the comments below. Let me know, and I'll see if I can incorporate that. Third is add Gemish and Ect Quincy subraces. I'm going to go a little wild on these since we don't really have a lot of info on these two different type of Quincy's. So I'm going to go a little crazy with them, and I'm going to just go like full like headcanon and make some stuff for them. So just to have also more like racial and subrace options as well. So that's going to be number 3. Number 4 is a shrift update. This is just to clean up some wording, add in the names that we now have to a lot of the shrifts once they go into Vollständig, and also add in new custom-made shrifts that I made. I made some. I know some other people made some, like Ben, who's helped out with the Arankar class, and some other friends I have that have made some shrifts. I'm gonna add those into the book, so now you'll have the shrifts from the show and then some custom shrifts that I made for people to kind of go through, pick, and use. So there's more options for it. Next up, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is a Arankar specialization. Now, this is the opposite problem with the Fullbring class. The Arankar base class is pretty decent, I like it, but the specializations, or at least the subclass for them, are pretty bland. It's not that great. I want to add more options. I want to have more things, like I want to have at least one like subclass or specialization that focuses on each individual ability score, at least. So I do want to change that up, make those options a little bit more dynamic. So that's going to be number 5. Number 6, we have new feats and boons. So that's going to be for all classes. I want to do at least 2 for each class, and then maybe for the races as well. But that's what I want to do. So I want to add at least a total of, what was the number? I think it was like 10, because I had 10 in mind that I've been working on here and there, at least with feats. And then boons, I also want to add more boons, make them a little bit more stronger since they are like capstone abilities, like regular boons, and then like epic boons. I want to make them a little bit more powerful. So that's going to be that. Next up is additional backgrounds, since right now we just have the regular D&D backgrounds, but I want to make some Bleach verse specific backgrounds. Like I know there's Exile, I kind of want to update it, and then maybe you're from one of the royal families, or maybe you're from like Central 46, or a unique urchin specifically to the Rukon guy, something like that. So I want to make some specific backgrounds for this setting. So if you have, again, any suggestions for that, comment down below, let me know, and I'll see if I can incorporate that. Number 8 I have is Oppression and Hollow Armament rework. Now, I've been holding up on these two. Same thing with Summon. So this basically, this will probably be all 3 of them together, honestly. But I've been really holding off on these because I want to see if or how any other rules change that might affect those 3 armament types. So, and also because they're kind of one of the biggest ones, so I want to leave them for last with a bunch of other changes made, with other things settled in. Once those other things are settled in, the book is settled in, I think it'll help me with those specific 3 armaments. So I want to wait till close to the very end, and I'm glad other people thought the same way as me. That's going to be one of the last ones to work on. But that's going to be those 3 things: Oppression, Hollow, and Summon are going to get their rework, and then hopefully they're in their final spots, and I don't have to touch them anymore from then on out. Other than like updates, maybe grammar changes, and minor stuff like that. Number 9, we have finished Chapter 1, Story of Bleach. This is just fluff, not too important, but I feel like that spot has been empty and unfinished for a very long time. And now that we know how the story is kind of ending, I'm really glad this is really at the bottom, because I also wanted to hold off on this too, because I know that we're getting the final arc of Bleach animated and things are getting changed, things are getting updated, how Kubo wanted them to be in the manga before things started getting rushed. So this is going to help me greatly once that finishes, and this is at the very bottom, so now we get all the info we can from the final arc to really help me out with finishing the first chapter, which is just all the fluff, and for those who don't know Bleach, to really get a good summary of the story of what's happening and the setting. That's basically the goal of the first chapter. And then finally, at number 10 is transitioning away from GM Binder. Now, GM Binder is really helpful with their search function. I was on the front page for a little bit, and it really helped with discoverability, but the features is lacking, and the website is literally falling apart. For those who, I know there's a lot of people that message me and let me know, like, hey, there's some pages that are broken. Most of the time, they're not broken. It's the website dying. Like, I think if you zoom in or zoom out on your phone, it'll break some of the pages sometimes, which is like super weird. So I still haven't decided where I want to move over to. I know there's a home brewery, but there's just a lot of features that they don't have that GM Binder has. That's really cool. But I know they're making, as far as I know, there's still in active development, unlike GM Binder where it's abandoned. That's pretty cool. So hopefully by the time I get to the spot where I'm transitioning away, home brewery is caught up with the features that GM Binder has. So I'll be hopping onto that, and then around the same time I'll probably be showing like different kind of themes, maybe, because I'd love to use a unique Bleach theme. As you can see here, for the book, it's just using the normal player's handbook kind of design, and I'd love to have like a custom one for Bleach. I found the font that the new Bleach uses, so I kind of want to use that, and then maybe do a little bit more of a modern-esque kind of look to it. You'll see what I mean once we get to that last spot, and then I start thinking about that. If need be, I'll jump off to one of like Adobe or something, one of the actual like book making programs, but I'm just not well versed with them. And home brewery is close enough and similar to GM Binder that it's not a steep learning curve to transition over. But if I'm going to keep doing D&D stuff and I want to publish it, it might be better for me to move on to an actual professional publishing software. So for those who know of any, let me know if there's any others other than Adobe that I could use. But honestly, I might just be transitioning over to the home brewery. At every update, I like make a copy of all the stuff. Like I make a PDF copy of the book just in case, because like honestly, I'm like, any day now, I'm pretty sure the site is gonna just fucking crash and die and burn, and then that's it. And I really don't want to lose all my stuff, so I'm always like saving my work and making so many backups just because I'm really paranoid that the site any day now is gonna crash and burn. But yeah, that's it. That's all the updates for today, for this month. That's where we're at with the roadmap, what I'm working on next. Let me know what you guys think about anything I talked about today. Let me know what you guys are excited for to see in the future, what you're most looking forward to, how your campaign is going right now. I love to hear people's stuff. Like, honestly, I really want to hear how the people's campaigns are going and what's going on, any crazy interactions, any cool ways you use certain armament abilities. I would love to hear all about that. I'm here for that. So let me know in the Discord. That's something I definitely want to hear. But that's it. Thank you guys so much. Please subscribe, That would help me out so much. Like the video, comment below, be a patron if you would love to do that, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.